went well this week. I'm obviously very busy with we've got the academy launch as well. So just trying to get everything in place. And I think one of my biggest weaknesses or kryptonite, so again, in our Go-To Clinic Mastermind, one of the first things I say to people is watch your strengths, watch your weaknesses, because you need to know your weaknesses. And one of my weaknesses is I want to get everything done now. I don't have any patience. So when I have an idea, I want to execute it. So I think it's setting expectations for myself of how much we can get done in the next quarter is going to be the big thing. And one of the big things that we're working on at the moment is our Ascension offer. So obviously with every business, you've got a value ladder. Essentially, you might have like your Pilates, your sports massage, then you'll have your physio, and then it's the next offer again then. So obviously in this clinic here, we started a wellness program, so to speak, just before lockdown. Then lockdown came, so it was all very start-stop. But from doing our yearly planning, and analysing our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities and threats, it's blatantly obvious that the weakness in this business at the moment is the Ascension ladder. So we've got so many customers. We've had, I'd say, over 7,000 to 8,000 customers come through the doors over the years now. And there's three ways to grow a business. You can increase the number of customers, you can increase the lifetime value, and increase the number of times they buy from you. So obviously the number two, I think we do a really good job with keeping patients on track. So their patient visit average is good, okay, ethically obviously, but the coming back for other stuff, we still get that. But I think if we can help people take the next step in their journey, that's going to make a massive difference to the business and hit our 3-year goals as well. So this month, the big focus is on getting our longevity program out. Okay, so this week I've been just working with the team, giving them clarity on the plan, and that's something I've been absolutely awful at in 2021. Is it's been in my head, and I'll just say, oh, can we do this, this, and this? But what I've realised with staff is that, like as I said, was saying with the academy, they didn't actually understand the plan. So this year I've spent a lot more time scheduling out time for planning days and just getting everyone up to speed and on the same page. And that's what we did this week in our in-service training. Was we mapped out what this journey is going to look like. And then, so this thing, so if the big thing to come out of the yearly planning was our Ascension, wasn't it? So we're very good. So the 5 things that a business needs to do we know what that is? So we need an audience. Okay, we need conversations. So we need to speak to people. We need to sell. We need to deliver. And then we need to ascend, basically. Okay, so I think we're really good at this stuff. I think that this can improve a little bit, and I'll support you with that this year a bit. Conversation, selling, delivering, I think we're world class at. I don't think there's an issue with that. It's the ascension onto the next level is the thing that we need to improve as a business. And that's where as well, it's in the 3-year plan anyway with the 100 members and all of this stuff. So it's part of the 3-year plan. But it'll take a lot of pressure off us as well as a business if we can get people who are finished their physio and then they go to the next level, because then that's more recurring revenue. So that if we do have a bad month with patients and COVID and stuff like that, it doesn't put pressure on the business. So it secures the business. So that's really important. So then the setup side of it, that's going to be important in terms of ascending people. So with you guys bringing them into the gym, letting them know about these classes, and then obviously the admin team telling people about these classes. Sandra said she's going to get some stuff on the walls and stuff like that as well. So like the vision basically for the business is you've got a value ladder. Even in the mentorship, every product that we put out there, we measure everything with a net promoter score. So the net promoter score, obviously, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely you recommend us to family and friends. And it's not just about putting out a product, it's about putting out a product that gets a 90% NPS score that we're proud of as a clinic, that we can make a promise to people and we can deliver that promise. And that's what we were doing this week, was getting really clear on what the promise is. Okay, what are we telling people we're going to do? And then what are the steps in place to actually go and do it? And I think when you come up with a new product or a new offer in your gym and stuff, I think, or your clinic, I think that's one of the probably the underestimated aspects of, okay, let's do all the marketing, let's do all the sales, but actually, what does the delivery look like? How much time, energy are you putting into those? So we've been mapping out, using the value equation. So looking at, what are the key milestones we need to hit on this journey so that we essentially get a 90 NPS, we get happy customers who are then going to continue the journey. So that's what we've been mainly doing this week. Personally, I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed in terms of obviously it's a new year, there's staff increases and wages and stuff like that. So as our overhead costs are starting to increase, there's obviously pressure on cash flow. Alison, we paid back half our bunks loan. Alison, my financial controller, is telling me, we need to keep half of it in case of January is a bit slow. And, we've obviously taken on another therapist, and that's worrying me a little bit as well, that, we're probably overstaffed at the moment with therapists. And it's interesting, that one. As I said, Amy's gone on maternity leave, so we just took on another therapist, Ollie, the last 6 months. He's doing really well. Okay, so in theory, where we would have been all right, but I wanted to take another therapist on and replace Amy, so to speak, in the interim, because I wanted to keep growing. Okay, because I've seen this with therapists that I've coached as well, is sometimes you can get complacent, and I was complacent in the clinic. It was making profit, it was making money, and it was doing all right. But actually employing Carol now, that's going to push me outside my comfort zone. And again, tying into these accountability posts, it's actually going to make me make sure that the Ascension stuff's in place, because now we have the resources, the capacity, the time and the energy to deliver that. But also it's going to make sure that Carol's going to be a vital cog in getting us up to that 180 patients a week by essentially November. So that was this week. So just starting at the start of today with Sandra, just looking at the plans, looking at wages, wage increases. We've increased our prices a bit as well, which is always a challenge for staff. Psychologically, I had to reassure them, look, we're giving value, and if we increase our value, increase our price, we increase our value. So looking at ways that we can increase that as well. So yeah, so that's been the week. It's been a busy week as such. But it's been a good one, and as I said, sometimes I just need to remind myself that, okay, Rome wasn't built in a day. I like things to be done yesterday, so that's one of my challenges this week with the clinic, is setting my own expectations. But most importantly, from a leadership thing, what I've tried to do better this week and not make the same mistakes as last year is actually give the team the plan and go, right, make sure everyone understands. It's like the mentorship, like I say, you need to understand the why behind everything you do. That's what gives people clarity, which gives people confidence to then go and execute. So that's what we were doing today in the in-service training. What's coming up next week? So next week we've got Carl starting. So he's going to go on the refresher course. He's been working his way through the mentorship. He's going to go through the refresher course. Luckily that we have next week, and then he starts from scratch the week after. So there'll be an indoctrination process with him, Shane, our head physio. We've got a very, very good process where we can get a new grad therapist and then take them from essentially, coming in with very little confidence, and we can get them very confident to treat private practice patients and get Google reviews and keep their NPSs up. We've done it with Sarah, we've done it with Craig, we've done it with Ollie. Ollie's 6 months in the job now, his NPS is over 90, getting great Google reviews. So it's really good that we've that proven process, but at the same time, we have to go and execute it. So Shane will be a big part of doing that next week with him. And Carol, at the moment, one interview questions I always ask therapists is how confident are you, or what's the price you're most confident to charge at the moment in private practice? Or how do I word it? Or what would you be comfortable charging at the moment for your services in private practice? And I think he answered about 35 or 40 quid. So obviously we're up at 75 quid. We're a bit higher than most clinics, okay, because we think very differently. And with the greatest respect to clinics around here, there's no one delivering what we're delivering, and I don't say that cocky. I say that with confidence, because there's very few therapists that have put in the hours that I've put in, that have studied the journals, the books. I've flown to places, and I've spoke to people on Skype. I've put the hours in order to develop this step-by-step system. So we do charge a little bit more here compared to other clinics. So the challenge is, it's getting Carl now from having the confidence and clarity to charge 35, 40 quid to have him now in the next 6 weeks feeling confident to charge 75 quid. So that's going to be the big challenge for us, myself and Shane, in terms of indoctrinating him on board. And as I said, we're very lucky. We've got a great onboarding process. Shane's done a cracking job as the head physio, and the clinic, he takes care of the vast majority of that. And then I'm just going to get a bit more involved in the in-services this year as well to support him and to support the therapist. So yeah, that's next week. Lots on. There's always something happening. That's the plan. In terms of next week, we've got a clear plan in place of who's doing what for the program. We're going to design the program. So again, before we're going to market it too heavily, we're going to go out and actually make sure that we've got a program we're proud of, that gives us the confidence to shout from the rooftops, right? This is the program, this is the promise, this is what we're going to get you in return for your money. The rule is, okay, whatever we charge, we want to give 10 times more value. That's the rule I live by. One of my mentors drilled that into me. Okay, so if you charge 75 quid a session, you need to give 750 quid's worth of value. Okay, how do you do that? And again, we use some frameworks to make sure that we give people a lot more value than we take in payments. So that's next week. Get all of that sorted. Hopefully get some momentum into that. That'll launch in 2 weeks' time, and then we'll also look at Carol's onboarding. Yeah, 75 hard. So day 6 at the moment, and 75 hard is interesting. You know, I'm putting a blog post out on Instagram, on my Instagram account tomorrow about that actually. And what I found is, you know, obviously Sunday I'm putting posts out on Instagram. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this, you know, this is what I'm doing. The excitement, the motivation's up. It's exactly like a patient in an initial assessment. And then, you know, by Tuesday, Wednesday, the motivation's dipping a little bit. But I'm getting quick wins because obviously my weight when I started was 108 kg. So I'm also doing a 6-week or an 8-week gym program as well as part of it with the gym down there. So he asked me to weigh myself. So I'm usually about 104. Gave myself a kg for Christmas. Okay, so I thought it was 105. When I stepped on the scales, I was actually 108. But again, I knew it was water. I usually carry about 3 kg of water when I have a drink. So that was interesting. So by like Wednesday, I was down to 105, and my progress pics, you know, I was seeing some progress. Okay, so you know that's keeping me on this week. But I know exactly what's going to happen now. The water weight's gone. I've put a little bit of weight on since I've measured myself again this morning. So again, that kind of messes with your head a little bit. And again, you know, that's very interesting. Like a patient as well, as they get these quick wins from hands-on treatment. And you know, by the time they get into the next session, the motivation's starting to dip again. So week 2 will be interesting. I've been able to do it. I'm going to Whitby for the weekend with the family. So no alcohol, no drink. That's obviously going to test me. But as I said, look, I don't want to, you know, big up things at the moment. It's week 1. Motivation is the highest it's ever going to be. So next week we've got a refresher courses. I've got 2 days of a business mastermind midweek, and then I've got the refresher courses at the back end of the week. That's going to be probably the biggest challenge with the alcohol component of staying off the alcohol at the end, because at the end of the first day we usually like to just have a bit of a social. So I'll be on the soda water at that. So I think that's going to probably challenge me a little bit more. So I might have a bit more to tell you then.